Morning Year 11. So bulletin for you today. I hope you're all well. You're not normally going to be getting these, but a few people have asked if I could do maybe one a week, just until the end of the summer, I suppose, or whenever, just to keep you apprised of what's going on and if there's any news on anything. So yeah, I hope you've had a nice restful time over half term and no work, and of course you're pretty much done with work now. Those of you that haven't got anything from college to do or have done it already, you're free. It's the summer, enjoy. In terms of schools and things, the news update if you like. So primary schools potentially will be opening today. Don't know quite how that's going to work yet, how many will go, and I think it's going to be a little bit of chaos personally. Parents not wanting to send their kids in, teachers not wanting to go, and we don't know. Secondary schools though, our school, a couple of weeks time, the plan is to let just year 10 back in, but not all of them at the same time, and social distancing, and not quite sure how that's going to look yet, but it sounds different. I don't know, maybe 6 people in a room or something. Will be tricky, but there's no plans for year 11s or any other year group to come back into school. So you've had your last day at school. You won't be back apart from for the NRA, which is going ahead, results day, which is going ahead. How they go ahead, I don't know. Don't have the date for the NRA. Results day, that date's been fixed already by the government, but we don't know if we'll still be social distancing at that point at the end of August. And prom is still going ahead sometime, most likely in September. So we'll keep you posted on that, and when I know more information, I'll let you know. So yeah, that's the news. I hope you're all well. I hope everything's good. I've been sent a few questions. Thank you, Charlotte, for this one that she'd like me to answer for you. So I'll have a look at these now. So do you think that we'll be at a disadvantage having not experienced the real exam stress? We never get the chance to develop a routine or coping strategies. I agree with that to a point, that you haven't gone through proper exams yet. You've been through mocks, and we all know how everyone feels about mocks. No one takes them completely seriously, which is a pain, but it's understandable. So you've not been through that yet. You know what it's like to sit an exam paper, and you can do that, but you've not been through the stress of exams. I think in a way you're lucky because you haven't had to go through that now. Instead, you just get a massive break, which is really nice for you. But I know there's some knock-ons to that. You might feel that maybe you've been hard done by. Maybe you could do better than the results that you're going to get. Not that you've seen them yet. If that is the case, you'll have a chance to redo some GCSEs. If you get your results, you're not happy, you can redo them. Not many people get a second chance, although I realise that's going to be when you've started college, but at least the opportunity is there. I suppose most people do get the second chance, but nobody wants to. See how it goes. Wait till results day and see. Now, more to the point of the question, are you at a disadvantage? I think if you do nothing between now and your actual A-level exams, those of you that are doing A-levels, if you do nothing to prepare, then yeah, you're at a huge disadvantage. Taking an exam and exam skills, they are a skill. It's not like anything else. You can go and learn to be a doctor, and you can be able to carry out rudimentary procedures, you can be able to recall information and describe symptoms for something. But if you can't do your exam and you can't show the exam board, if you like, that you can answer questions, then you've got no way of receiving a qualification. So you have to be able to give the information in a way that's required in order to get the qualification. And that means learning how to answer exam questions and learning exactly what they want. Now, exam questions are designed most of the time to help you to give the information in a way that's going to be useful in the future. But the other element of it is you have to just show that you know all the information. So sometimes they'll go quite deep into things, sometimes they won't. It's quite unusual. It's not something you'll ever encounter again later in life, certainly when you get a job. So you need to practice now, is what I'm saying. Some colleges will do mock or indicative exams at the end of year 12, but not all of them now. Some will do some in year 13, but not all of them. Some will just have the exams right at the end. You need to practice. That's all. You can do this. You can even go and grab the GCSE papers or similar ones that you would have done this year for your subjects. If you're taking psychology, art and media, then why don't you look up exam papers for psychology, art and media for GCSE and sit those. I know you don't want to sit exams and it's the summer and relaxing, but maybe when it comes to close to doing your A-level course, it's worth just in that last couple of weeks, maybe sit down to spend a bit of time preparing by doing the papers, marking them, correcting them, and then you'll feel more prepared and ready. In the same way, you can look up A-level papers and AS level papers. AS level it's less content than A-level. Most people do the AS content than the A-level content, A2 content. Either way, any of those papers would be good for you to have a little flick through and see how you should be answering questions. The examples have a wealth of information as well on common mistakes and errors that people make. Have a look, just go onto the website for the exam board, look up your course, and then read through the information they've got there. There's plenty there, and you're all mature enough now to find it for yourselves. But my advice is just practice. When you've started your course as well, even if it's just you've got a textbook, then you can piece together an hour and a half's worth of exam questions and answers. All you have to do is replicate exam conditions as best you can. I know you can't be in a hall, but you should be somewhere where there's no phone, no screens, no distractions, no noise, no music, nothing. Absolute silence, just like an exam hall, complete solitude, and then you sit there completely focused for an hour and a half, let's say, on your exam. Answer it, then when that's done, you can go ahead and mark it and whatnot. That's probably a good idea, just to get some practice in. I'm not saying to do it now, but throughout the time of your college, you should get some practice. Many colleges, perhaps they'll put this in place for you because they know you've missed your GCSEs. Maybe they'll take that into account, I don't know. But if you're proactive, then you don't have anything to worry about. So I guess in answer to that question, if you're lazy and do nothing, then yes, you'll suffer because you've not been forced into this pressure situation. If, however, you're proactive, then you'll put yourself through this and you'll practice, and then you'll be fine. No disadvantage provided that you work hard, and you're all capable of working hard. Okay. Next question. Do you think... nope, that's a different one. From a scientific point of view, what can we expect for the future? Will corona ever go if they can't find a vaccine? Will it return? Will society ever return to normal? All right. Coronavirus, it's a new strain of virus. There are other coronaviruses, and they give you cold and flu-like symptoms, and they're all around. But this one is new, so there's no mass immunity to it yet. That's why people are going really ill now. Maybe, and we don't know yet because we still don't know the details of how immunity is built up and whether or not it's preserved over time in us. So we're still waiting for those answers. If it does, then it means that it could be an annual thing. Maybe it just keeps on coming around in cycles, a bit like the flu always comes around, or we go off and we get flu shots. Maybe there'll be a coronavirus shot that people have to get, or certain people are offered, the immunocompromised or the elderly. We're not sure yet. It could be seasonal, or it could just be this is it and it's wiped out. We don't know. There are other countries, though, that are only just developing it. I think it was somewhere in South America, where they've just started the outbreak there and have been relatively unaffected until now. So I think it's going to be going around for a while yet. I don't think we've seen the end of it just yet. But fingers crossed it will die out. The question of how long it takes, I don't know. I suspect, in my head, I keep thinking that when it comes to September and the start of the new academic year, it'll all be done and dusted. But then I'm not sure it will be. It could be that the lockdown is released by then, more or less completely, but there's still some level of social distancing going on in certain places. It could be that those who are immunocompromised, or the elderly, or people with pre-existing conditions, could be asked to maintain social distancing, but not other people. Don't know. It could be that we keep these different shopping times for people who are more at risk. It could be that when you go to college and I go back to work, that we're told if you are ill, then rather than just being off for a couple of days, or if it's just a cold, then come in, Now it might be if you've got a cold or something, then you need to stay at home for a week. Maybe. I imagine it could be something like that. And then, of course, if you do have the COVID-19, then you're off for a couple of weeks and you're isolated and go to hospital and all of this. But some measure of isolation could still be put in place. I don't know yet. There's a lot of people already who are breaking the lockdown and going out. There was a massive gathering in London yesterday. There's loads of people. I went for a drive yesterday as well. There's loads of people in parks and things just not maintaining the social distance. Please bear in mind that although it's been relaxed a little bit now, so you can go to see I think up to 6 people from one other household at a time, provided you maintain social distancing. That's 2 meters apart. You can still go into the house to use the loo and use some common sense, but there's no hugging and there's no getting closer than 2 meters, and it's only from 2 different households as far as I'm aware. Please bear that in mind. It's still a real risk. I know we're all getting a bit bored of it now, but you don't want to be the person who's responsible for making people in your family ill because you go out, you hang around in a big group, you come back, you see one of your relatives or you see someone you live with, and then they become ill because you decided, well, the lockdown doesn't really matter to me because I'll be fine. It's not about you, it's about the older people. People over 45, I think, they're the ones that are more at risk. We're all able to catch it and pass it on, and we might not notice we've got symptoms, but if you pass it on to someone and they get really ill, you don't want that on you. So please be careful, especially those of you who have families with people who are already ill or immunocompromised. So be careful. But will we get back to normality? Eventually, yes. There's talk of a recession. So the amount of money the government's had to spend now to cover everyone's wages whilst everyone's been off and deal with this massive emergency, it's quite an enormous amount of money. So they're discussing now, what are we going to do about that? Lots of people have lost their jobs because businesses have closed down. I think the country, the world has and will change a bit. I don't think it's going to be like post-apocalyptic or anything, but there's probably going to be a lot of people out of work, a lot of people looking for jobs, a lot of businesses may have closed. We might see some prices of things increase. We don't know yet, but it won't be back to exactly how we knew it anytime soon, but it should be fairly close. So I'm hoping that by this time next year, I would imagine things to be back to some semblance of normality. Winter will be the real test because that's when normally people who are elderly and immunocompromised are asked to isolate a little bit and take extra care and precautions and flu jabs and things. So how that looks and how we deal with that, whether there's more of an outbreak or something when it comes to winter, I don't know. We don't know yet. Winter is a vulnerable time, or winter is a time when people who are normally vulnerable are more vulnerable. So perhaps extra things will come in around Christmas and into the early new year. We don't know. But if I have a better answer to that question after finding out some more, I will let you know. Any interview tips for when applying for jobs? Be enthusiastic about the company. So if you're applying for a job, then you obviously have to seem genuinely interested. I would look up about the company and find something out about them. Like if you're applying for a job in a supermarket, at least go onto their website, have a look at the priorities for the supermarket, what's their slogan, what are they interested in. Just try and put something in there to show you've genuinely put some interest in and you're invested a little bit in the company. Yeah, if it's your first job, then most people are going to know you're only there for the money and maybe to get a bit of experience. They know that, but what they're going to look for is someone who's going to work hard for them. And if you can show that you work hard because you've already gone and done a little bit of research, I'm not saying you have to go in and talk about the history of Sainsbury's or the founders of Tesco, but at least know something about the company, something about what you're going into. Are they a company that, if it's a supermarket, are we talking about Waitrose that are a little bit fancy, let's say? If they are, then maybe make an extra effort when you go in for that interview, and talk about quality and stuff. Are you going for Aldi or Lidl, where it's going to be about efficiency, friendliness, or whatever? Just look at what the companies want and then actually portray that. I'm not saying fake it or anything, but do a little bit of research and show that you care. Don't just turn up and say, well, it's a supermarket, isn't it? Any old job. Show that you care. Don't expect to go into the best position ever. They might not offer you the job that you want. It might be a different job. Be grateful. Any job is a good job. And especially given what I was just saying about so many people losing their jobs now, any job is a good job. So if you get a job, be grateful, okay? Be grateful. And have some humility about it when you're applying as well. I'm not saying go in there saying that you're not the greatest, but at least go in there and make sure that you portray some level of humility and friendliness, that you don't think you're going to come in and revolutionise everything. If you're applying to stack shelves, then you're not going to change the world. So just say hardworking, you'll do whatever you're asked to do, and you'll always be polite. It's my best advice. Do some research on the company. If you are applying for a job and you want some tips, let me know what job you're applying for, and then I can give you some help. And maybe we can practice some interviews if you want to. Anyway, what are the most attractive extracurricular activities or projects for university? Or should we prioritise getting results? Okay, so when you're applying for university, what sort of extra things can you put in other than your results? Yes, obviously you need good results, but yes, you need to stand out in other ways. When I applied to university, we spent no time at all looking at my results. All of our time was spent talking about my gold DofE expedition. The whole interview was on that. I was practicing in the car, I was reading through physics books as I was there, I was sweating and thinking, oh, what if they asked me that? I was brushing up on my maths. But no, we went in there, and we spoke about canoeing and mountain climbing. That was it. I think I was still asked, like, why do I want to come there? But that was it. And then, yeah, everyone gets a letter saying, well, okay, very good, enjoyed the interview, here's the offer. So you might get a conditional offer which says you need these grades, or you might be lucky enough to get an unconditional offer that says they'll take you anyway. I'm not saying this to brag, I'm saying this just as an example. They asked me nothing about my course, only about DofE, and I showed that I was really interested in doing the course. I had an unconditional offer given to me. I could have gone through my A-levels and got nothing, because they signed to say it doesn't matter what you get. So I imagine I still have to get something, but they waived everything, so it didn't matter what I got, which was a huge relief, obviously a huge relief, when it came to the A-level exams, knowing it doesn't actually matter what I get, provided I try my best. So I would go into an interview with something interesting to say when you're applying for universities. DofE, obviously I'm going to recommend that. That's what I got the experience with. Anything really, something that just makes you stand out. I'm not saying you have to go out and, learn how to touch your toes whilst juggling between your ponytail and your right cheek. I don't know. But I'm not saying to do something really peculiar. But if there's something that is unique and you're passionate about, then yeah, go for it. I would say what they'll look for, what anyone will look for, is that you are passionate about something. So if there is, obviously be passionate about the course, but if there's something else, something that shows a bit of depth and breadth to you, then apply yourself to that as well. I wouldn't necessarily start something new now, just so you can say this is good for my university application, unless you were already interested in it. Maybe you wanted to join a debating society. Maybe you wanted to start a new sport. Maybe you're already doing a sport and you want to carry on and progress through. Fine, keep doing what you're doing. I would say you need to have more feathers in your cap than just your course. That should be a priority, but also do something else. But don't let what you're doing as an additional thing take up too much of your time. What you really want to do is focus on your work and then have something extra that is good for you. So it's a bit of a mental break. If your course is really academic, then you want to do something that's nowhere like that. So to give yourself a break and to show that you can apply yourself in more areas. Find something you love and do it well, is my general advice for these things. And then pop it on your application form and say, this is what I'm really interested in too. But don't make that the highlight. Don't say, yeah, I'm going to university to study English literature. I really want to join the tennis team. I've put all of my time into doing tennis. I'm tennis mad. I wear my tennis clothes all the time. I only ever wear white. Like, you're there to do a course, but you should have extra things as well. Make sure course is the priority, but you've got extra things that make you more of a well-rounded person, okay? Don't sign up for crazy stuff because people tell you, oh, this will make you look excellent. No, just do what you love. Me personally, I loved the whole adventure of D.O.V. That's all it took, because D.O.V., as you know, splits up into different sections, bit of health, bit of charity, the lot, skills, and that was enough. So, yeah, do what you love, do it well. That would be my advice. Yeah, prioritise getting results, but don't just prioritise getting results. Enjoy your time at college as well. Enjoy this part of your life where you've got the freedom and the time to explore and find what you really enjoy doing. So that means that getting outside of the realm of your course and general comfort zone and just trying some new things. Okay, I think that was the last question I had there. So thank you very much, Charlotte, for those. If anyone else has some more questions, then please let me know. Yeah, cool, good. All right, Year 11, I hope you're all very well. Don't forget what I said about the lockdown. I know it's tricky, but think of others. Try your best. Keep the social distancing. Don't meet up with people from more than one other household. When you do meet up, you don't get really close with them. You still stay 2 meters apart. Bear with it for a while longer. We're doing this for everyone else's sake. There's nothing more important than protecting everyone else's health, okay? I know you might say, well, my mental health is suffering from this. You can find other ways of dealing with it. You don't have to be hugging everyone in the neighbourhood in order to have a good mental health. And you know I don't mean just hugging. Think of others, okay? Stay safe and have a lovely week. All right, if you have any more questions, please do email me. You've got my email. If you need any help with anything as well, please do get in touch. Enjoy, relax, go do some sunbathing or something, read something. Yeah, have fun. All right, Year 11, have a lovely week. Bye-bye. That was weird. Bye-bye.